I've been in business for 40 years. Your prize is working with me. You're fired. You haven't got a bloody clue. You're fired. This was a total disaster. You're fired.
Good evening and welcome to a new series of The Apprentice, You're Fired. Each week we'll be giving whoever's been on the end of Sir Alan's firing finger another good going over here in the studio, and we'll have lots of unseen footage for you. 16 bright young things dived in today, hoping not to sink but swim, but already one's gone under for not knowing the price of fish. We'll be meeting him in a moment. First, as we begin our joyous annual 12-week journey into Apprentice Hell, let's rejoice again, along with our panellists, in the sweet sound of the candidates talking absolute twaddle about how fantastic they are.
My strategy is very aggressive, play to win. Not only beat the other candidates, but thrash them.
In life, there are two types of people. There are winners, and the second one, I can't say it, and I won't say it.
As a salesperson, I rate myself as probably the best in Europe.
The spoken word is my tool.
Tool is just about the right word there, isn't it? Three big Apprentice fans on our panel today. Celebrity chef and fisherman James Martin, the woman who led the winning team on last year's Comic Relief Apprentice and also MD of Birmingham City FC, Karen Brady, and the third wise person in the shape of the comedian Rufus Hound. Selling fresh fish on a market stall sounds a simple enough task, but all the candidates made very heavy weather of it. But it was Nicholas who got thrown overboard in the end.
You told me that you got an outstanding pass from the bar. You weren't outstanding. You were devastated when you got a B in your GCSE French. You're going to be even more devastated now because you got a big F. You're fired.
Please welcome a man with a very long name who had a very short career on The Apprentice, Nicholas de Lacy Brown. Don't make him too welcome. So, have you had a piece of fish since?
I've struggled to look at fish. Actually, as soon as I came out, I saw a board with fish prices all over it on my local beach, so that was probably the worst thing I could possibly see.
And what are your feelings, actually, having looked at the programme now? You've just seen it for the first time.
I didn't come out too badly, actually.
I think we'll be the judge of that, actually.
In my opinion.
In your legal opinion?
Indeed, a very important one that is too. By the time I got to the boardroom, I felt almost deluded as to what had happened or what hadn't happened. And actually seeing the process of what did happen, I kind of felt just in what I was saying and what I was arguing. So yeah, it was okay. Delusion
is very common amongst Apprentice candidates, yes, I think you will find. Well, what you got done for was the pricing, working out the costs. Let's have a look at where you went wrong.
Okay.
Nick, you're in charge of pricing.
Being in charge of pricing is a little arduous, a little precarious.
Well, look, doing the lobsters $4.90 at the moment. Everything else will come out in a second.
That's what I put them down. I put them down as £4.90 each.
£4.90 each? £4.90 each for a lobster. Three lobsters.
They've made a complete mix-up. Obviously, it's easy to sell a lobster for £5 when it should be selling for 10 or 15.
The guys are selling it at 23 per kilo. We're selling it at £4.90 per unit.
I think we've been let down slightly on the prices.
It's very hard to deal with prices completely on my own.
You excel in everything, and you even excel in mathematics. But what you were told to do was very simple. It was maths. And you just needed to add that up and give your colleagues the prices. But they were wrong.
You look to me every inch the man who'd know how much a lobster costs. You've just got that look about you. So how did it go wrong?
I appreciate that they would be quite expensive, but there was so much going on at the time. I thought maybe we were doing a promotional offer or something, getting the customers in. So I didn't want to argue. And you know, Alex was project manager. I thought, you know, you saw him say in the episode that it was £4.90. Thought, who's to argue with the boss? Let's ride it on.
OK. But you didn't spot for ages that it was wrong, to be fair, did you?
Well, I knew that it was cheap, but it was a while before I thought to myself, when I saw the girls' stall, yeah, actually, this is going a bit cheap. Maybe we should crank it up a little.
James, as a man who knows his way around a fish, what did you make of this?
I should have been there, I tell you. That's the cheapest lobster I've ever seen. But it wasn't just the lobster, it was the turbot, it was the, you know, everything there was very, very cheap. You know, and it was one of the fundamental things, really. The minute you get a lot of fish, who would you call? You call a fish supplier to find out, you know, as I did this morning, the list and the prices of the fish straight away. To me, it's common sense, really.
So why didn't that happen there?
We did actually call around some fishmongers beforehand and got some prices, and we worked out that there was about a third markup on the wholesale price, and that was how the prices were set. That's how I set the prices.
Karen, you liked the task, didn't you? Because it had the merit of being simple on paper, anyway.
Yeah, I mean, I actually think it's a great task to start off with, because as the series goes on, they get a bit more complicated. Here you are, you had £600 worth of fish and you had to sell it at a profit. And there were really three things you had to do. You had to pick a pitch, you had to labour it correctly, and you had to sort out the pricing.
And you cocked all three off.
Yeah. But I'm not going to take responsibility for all three. In fact, none of them.
It struck me, watching this first episode, is that the early ones are hardest, simply because there's so many of you. There are. I mean, this was a case of too many cooks spoiling the broth every time. There's so many idiots, frankly, all arguing with each other. You can't get anything done, can you?
And then the interesting thing was you decided at the end you didn't have enough money. You went off to a solicitor's office to sell fish.
It's in the blood.
OK.
If there's one rule, surely we've learnt about this, it's don't sell fish to sharks.
And don't, as Ray said, don't confuse a shark with a hamster as well. That is also important, wise words. I mean, there was this section at the beginning, wasn't there, about where you all had to say how great you are. How did that Irish woman work out that she was the best salesperson, not just in a region, not in the country, but in Europe? And if Europe, one of the world's. What league table is she looking at, Karen? Have you seen one?
I think that's the bravado, isn't it? It's trying to sort of, if you say it often enough, maybe someone will believe it. But that's, I think, Nick, one of the things about Nick, everybody could say who they were. People could say, I'm a salesman, I'm a marketeer, I'm a globing pricing expert. It was quite hard for Nick, because Nick has no work experience.
The man marketed himself as a complete bloody genius, you know, so he wasn't sure what things to say about himself.
There is a difference between having a really bright education and then being thrown in at the deep end.
Too much time behind a desk. Unfortunately, it was a school desk.
Listen, but to be fair, he's done well at school. The boy's bright. Let's have a look.